Okay, if I make mistakes today, then let me know. I have not done this before, but I am going to do a call to order. Do I need to say anything else? I don't think so. Roll. Oh, yeah, roll call.
Vice Chair McKee-Burrows. Board Member Sterrett.
Present.
Board Member Wicklund.
Here.
Board Member McInerney.
Here.
Board Member Kalkofer.
Here.
Council Member Yarbrough.
Here.
We've got a quorum.
We acknowledge that the Longmont sits on the traditional territory of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, Ute, and other indigenous peoples. We honor the history and the living and spiritual connection that the first people have with this land. It is our commitment to face the injustices that happened when the land was taken, and to educate our communities, ourselves, and our children to ensure that these injustices do not happen again. And we will do introductions and welcome to new members. Do we just? Yeah.
My name's Ross Sterrett. I've lived in Longmont since 2019, so that's 6 years now. And I'm glad to be here.
Good to meet you, Ross. We've already met before at various meetings. I'm Taylor Wicklund. This is my start of my second term on TAB.
I'm David McInerney. I'm beginning my 5th year as a member of TAB, and it's been a very enlightening experience. I became interested in the board when I read the Envision Longmont Master Plan, and I thought that it presents a very positive direction for the city, and I wanted to help to implement the plan.
My name is Alex Kalkofer. I've been in Longmont since 2008, and I've been interested in joining the transportation, which I've been on for the last year, so this is going on to my 2nd year. I travel to see my father, who lives in Austria a lot, and with all my travels from the U.S. to Europe, I kind of like to see some positive change, especially when it comes to public transportation and holding RTD accountable, because I took a trip last week, and again, I couldn't take any bus to the airport, so that's why I'm here, is to make us a more resilient city when it comes to transportation.
Do you want to go? Okay. I am Gina Burrows. I'm the Vice Chair of the Transportation Advisory Board, and this will be my 3rd year on TAB, starting now. I was originally on the Bicycle Issues Committee, and I still am, and I was encouraged to kind of get more involved, and I'm really interested in transportation, obviously, and I'm very excited about Vision Zero and the anyway, you know what I mean, of the city that this city is going towards. Okay, and now we're going to do the 2025 election of officers for chair and vice chair. So do we have any nominations?
Yes, I would like to nominate Alex Kalkofer for chair, actually.
Wrong order. Oh wait, no, that's...
I'll nominate Gina McKee-Burrows to be our chair.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the nomination. I've been interested in this board for a while. Like I said, I've been in Longmont since 2008. I grew up in Miami Beach, Florida. Transportation has been a part of my life for a really long time. I started taking buses to school, public buses, when I was in middle school, and have always been an advocate for multimodal transportation. And I'm also the chair of the Community Action Program for Boulder County. And I think that we can kind of rally the troops behind getting better transportation for our citizens here with whatever mode of transportation they choose, whether it's a car, a bike, walking, taking a bus. I think, however, people decide to walk or stroll, I think that's how we should present those options to them and really be resilient for our future. Longmont's going to continue to grow, and I think transportation is part of that infrastructure that we really need to kind of push on, and I'm dedicated to being chair of this, if I'm nominated, to really push the agenda for holding our stakeholders accountable for our citizens.
So I've been vice chair for the last couple of years now, I think, and I'm interested in being chair because I'd like to take a bigger role on TAB. I feel like I've got some really good experience in the last couple of years, and want to start moving things forward a little bit faster on some of the things that have come up. So, and I really want to see Vision Zero come to fruition, more bicycle infrastructure, of course, continuing all the pathways that need to be finished in Longmont, and of course RTD, and trying to wrangle them to actually provide decent services to Longmont. So I guess we do do we just go down, I guess? How do we do the voting? I'm not quite sure.
Thank you. First of all, there wasn't a second for yours. You were being nominated as a chair, so you got to have a second. And then also there needs to be a vote. So, so that nomination will fail if there's no second. I mean, I can't vote either way. So, but I just want to call that to order. And if there's no second, then you all need to vote for Alex as the new chair. Just wanted to state that.
I will second then my nomination. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. We just need. Yeah.
Do we go down the line?
How did you all do it before?
Oh, yeah, we just go down the line.
Okay. All right. Do you want to just hit yourself in the queue and then you can just...
I'll vote for for member Kalkofer.
I will also vote for board member Kalkofer.
McKee Burrows.
I'll vote for myself, Alex Kalkofer.
I will vote for myself.
Three to two.
Nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate for vice chair board member McKee Burrows.
Second.
I'll vote for Councilmember McKee Burrows for vice chair.
I will also, nominated. I'll vote for you as well.
McKee Burrows.
You also have my vote?
I will vote for myself.
Unanimous vote.
joining this meeting?
If you want.
Since you're already since you're already sitting there, I'll just move next to you.
Oh. So we're going to be approving minutes of the preceding meeting. Any changes or suggestions for the minutes? Okay. I need a vote for the minutes approving.
I motion to approve the minutes from June 2025.
Seconded.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the minutes pass. Next we have communications from staff.
Good evening. So as you'll see on the agenda, the first item was supposed to be a Bike to Work Day report. Unfortunately, Ben Ortiz is sick and unable to make it tonight. So I'd like to call Cammie Edson up to do a Vision Zero update in that place.
Good evening, TAB members. Update short and sweet. Just wanted to let you know that tomorrow night at City Council, there will be the first official Vision Zero annual update to City Council. If you'd like to watch that online or attend, this will be the first time we're bringing forward to them what we've been working on this past year and a half-ish almost. And just so you know, we have published as of today a Vision Zero story map on the Vision Zero website, which focuses on fatal and serious injury data. And as of maybe tonight or tomorrow morning, there will also be a Vision Zero dashboard with some preliminary data from 2022 to 2024. There's some spatial data that still needs some updating, but you'll at least be able to start to see the 2024 data. And as we get through getting our latitude and longitudinal coordinates updated, that dashboard will update and even go further back than the first 3 years, but we started with the latest 3 years. So some new resources for people to find Vision Zero data and be transparent with the public about what we know and what we're learning. So 2 new resources coming soon, and then our presentation tomorrow night. So that's what I've got. Thanks.
Good evening, TAB members. Jim Angstedt, Director of Engineering Services. We wanted to provide you an update with some of our general transportation items that are currently, first off, we cover projects that are under construction. And then some of the other information will be status of some of the projects that are in design that will be going to construction either later this year or early next year. One of the, first and foremost, an update on Kaufman Street. As you remember, Kaufman Street extended from about 9th Avenue south to 2nd in this phase. There will be another phase that goes from 2nd down to 1st, and then that will tie into the 1st and Main improvements. But the focus for the last couple of years has been that section of Kaufman Street, which is we're shifting buses over, and then multimodal corridor, of which we have separated bike paths and sidewalk off of the roadway, and then areas for the buses to pull over. Construction is well ahead of schedule, originally scheduled to be completed in spring of next year. The contractor has been had some additional crews that they were able to assign, so they've been really working diligently to get that completed. They are pretty much almost final. They're getting ready to final pave the area from 4th up to 9th and complete that. There is still signing and striping that is ongoing and landscaping in that area as they complete the major construction items south of 4th from 4th to 2nd. They are working on the design for the next section currently. And the plan will include a new signal at 2nd Avenue. And then in addition to that, we did replace the signals at 3rd and 4th. There was an existing signal at 5th. We elected not to replace that. It was those signals on at 4th and 5th were never met warrants. So we felt that with the mid-block crossings, there was adequate pedestrian movement, so there was no signal there. The next project is our Quiet Zone initiative. Work is currently underway at 17th Avenue, 9th Avenue, and Longs Peak. If you have been out there for the last few weeks, Longs Peak is currently closed as the contractor is doing the improvements. We will next follow up with BNSF to do some of their work. Our goal was originally to have it open by school, which is starting Wednesday. More than likely that will not occur. But we are coordinating with the school and public safety to route everyone around that area. But we anticipate Longs Peak being open in the next few weeks. To follow, we will be working on 3rd Avenue. That will require a closure for about 3 to 4 weeks at some point. There will be a detour route around that area, and prior to any of the closures, there will be a rather aggressive public campaign to notify everybody. So normally when we have a road closure or a change with maintenance of traffic, we will just put out a regular notice, but we'll have a number of notices announcing the detour plan as well. The next package, which includes 4th, 6th, 21st, 5th Avenue, and Terry Street, that will we're looking to get that out to bid in the 4th quarter this year, and then construction in 2026. Once those are completed, along with the package one that's underway, we would start looking at applying to the FRA for the establishment of a quiet zone. But we need to have all of those intersections completed prior to initiating a quiet zone. Really what I'm saying is simply because we do the improvements doesn't mean the train won't blow its horn. FRA has to bless it. So we are planning that schedule out. So when those are completed, we'll initiate that work. Also, those are the major projects we currently have under construction. We are also working on, which you will see very shortly within the next few weeks, is our streets group is working on the joints at the St. Verrain. It's on Hover Street where the St. Verrain Creek crosses. There's a culvert there. Basically, actually, it's the bridge. The bridge joints have been failing for a number of years. Our plow blades have hit them when we plow, so we're redoing those as well. So you'll see some traffic impacted in that area. We're trying to keep 2 lanes open in each direction as much as we can, but there may be some reductions in lanes. Staff continues to work on the First and Main project. That is the new bus station and garage. Our roadway plans are at around 60-75%. They are working on a contract for the garage to get a design build contract established to get that moving forward. Property acquisition, the purchase of all the properties for the project has been completed. We continue to work on property acquisition for the 119 and Sunset project, which will realign Sunset at 119, adding another lane. Currently, there are 2 lanes in each direction, and the right turn and left turn lanes and the through lanes are not defined. We're going to widen that intersection out in the north-south direction, add another lane, so that we'll have in each direction an established left turn, through lane, and a right turn lane. We're also improving the bicycle facilities in that area, and we will tie in the Quiet Zone project at the nearby railroad as well as part of that. Boston Crossing, our design has been finalized. We are finally got a sign off from BNSF on that, looking for the final PUC approval. And we are working on property acquisition. Later this month, we have 2 properties going in front of council that include right-of-way as well as easements. And then there's one more we're still working on. But once that is finalized, we'll work on getting that project out to bid, going to construction in winter and then spring of next year. Should not be a really highly detailed project in terms of work. It's not a lot of disturbance, but we want to get that going to tie in as well as when we start First and Main. Our county line shoulder widening, extending from 17th Avenue up to 66, involved widening out of the shoulders to provide bike lanes. That design has been completed. We are finalizing property acquisition along the old Montgomery Farm property, and that anticipate that is going out to bid in early 26. We have to move that forward. It has about $4 million in grants, and our deadlines are approaching to get under construction by spring of 2026. Couple of kind of outlier projects. I want to include, normally I wouldn't be talking about a development project or developer work, but as part of the Mountain Brook Road project, which was a developer extended Mountain Brook and connected it into Hover just north of the Home Depot store. We have, part of the requirement was for the developer to fund a new signal. They did that through their public improvement agreement, and the city has hired our contractor to do the work. So we anticipate seeing that work going in the next few months. And then the developer at some point opening that road, which would be a reliever in part for Nelson. That'd be another access for some of those apartments off of Nelson that we see going in. So that is ongoing. Couple of trail projects that our Parks Department has been working on. The St. Vrain Greenway extending from Sandstone Ranch to the east to the state park. That project design has been completed and property acquisition is almost finalized. That job is currently out to bid. So we anticipate having a contractor award sometime in September, October, and looking to get that underway by the end of the year. Another trail project we have is going east from Union Reservoir to the state park. That is still working through design. We're finalizing the funding. So a grant agreement has been drafted and will be going to council within the next 30 to 60 days. In conjunction with the 119 and Sunset project, we were also have been working with Parks on the extension of the Dry Creek Trail that runs from the backside of the mall and then will connect into Sunset. That project, we're working on some final items on the plan, and we anticipate that going out to bid before the end of the year. Once that project was for design was being steered by our engineering team. When it goes to construction, Parks will take that over. The RSVP project is currently working on 30% design plans to extend the drainage improvements of the channel from Sunset to Hover. That did get a grant for that, so we are working on that, anticipating sometime in spring having those 30% plans. So we will see probably some public engagement at that time. The Army Corps continues to work on their section, extending from just north of the Boston Avenue Bridge all the way to just a little bit west of Sunset. The trail has been closed again as they do the work in that area. The original detour for the trail is still in place, but we are also working on re-signing shorter detail down Boston. Through our pavement management program, we did extend the shoulder on the north side. We are working, actually today, our operations team was out putting in some flexible markers. We'll be doing some striping along that shoulder to delineate it as a two-way bike trail on a temporary basis, so people can then get to Sunset and then up Sunset to without going along the railroad tracks to the north, which was the original detour when we were building the Boston Avenue Bridge. And then we'll have some messaging out when that is finalized within the next few weeks. Our signal team is still working on upgrades on Hover, wherein we're replacing the cameras with updated, newer cameras as part of our adaptive signal program. So we are still finalizing some of that hardware. Some of the cameras still have to be installed at the intersections. It is ongoing. When that is completed, we'll reestablish the software on that and then have to reprogram the signals. We're still working on Main Street, still working on 119. It's taken a little longer than we had thought to get that up and running. So it's still in process. And we did finally get notice. We had put in a grant through Dr. Cog for a number of other off-network intersections, meaning off-network, not on CDOT roads, for a number of other cameras for 17th, for 3rd Avenue, some on 66. We did finally get a grant agreement and IGA negotiated, so that will be going in front of council. I think it's about $800,000 in grant dollars. So that will be moving forward as well. And with that, that is most of the items we got going. I didn't include the drainage projects. And then with that report, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Wow, that was a lot. Nice work. Kaufman is looking great. Nice work to you and the team for that. I walk it maybe every other day, and it's amazing. And it's so great that now I want the signals to be as short on Kaufman as, Main Street. So I don't know what we can do to make pedestrian crossings prioritized like Kaufman, but Kaufman is turning out really great. Nice work to everybody. Sorry, that wasn't really a question. For the new light that is going in by Mountain Brook, how would people leaving Target or Home Depot head north?
So basically, we have been working with Home Depot for a number of years to try to get an access through the Fairgrounds Marketplace. That is the name of the development. And Home Depot was very resistant. Part of the Fairgrounds approval many years ago required them to provide a right-in or build a right-in, right-out island at the Home Depot driveway. Once that was done, Home Depot came to the table. So they are working through that now. So there will be an access through the Fairgrounds Marketplace. There's already an established easement there. They are working on additional easements in that area. And then when they finally build, and there's been a number of applications coming in. One was a gas station. One was a coffee shop to build along that frontage. Nothing's been approved yet. Hasn't gone through the final approvals yet. But there would be an access point. Otherwise, people have to drive around down Dry Creek Drive and then pull around to access the signal behind the Home Depot.
Gotcha. Thank you. And then for overall construction costs, are they staying where we're forecasting them to be, or is inflation increasing the cost for these construction projects?
Well, we bid these out well over a year ago for both Kaufman and the Quiet Zone projects. We have seen increases on those, and we continue to build our budgets around those. For the most part, we've seen some increases in labor and commodities. So we do adjust our budgets each year as we program in the budgets, we add more. I know that our targets for our pavement management and concrete rehab have been almost spot on. So we haven't seen huge increases in those areas. A lot of it's because, at least for pavement rehab, we hired, used to be Aggregate Industries, now Wholesome, and then they've just changed their name again. And it's a local vendor, so almost all of their stuff is local. From the aggregate, they have if you've heard about the Tel Distal items, that's where they manufacture or build their asphalt as well. So we pull from them. So we get a pretty good price generally on asphalt and concrete as well. But we'll know come fall whether, as we see in the bids, the first project's going to be that trail project. We'll see whether those what the bids look like for that. So,
And then congratulations on getting that 800K grant money. Right now is really hard to come by. So congratulations on getting that. Thank you.
Thanks for the comprehensive update, Jim. You mentioned that the Kaufman Street work is ahead of schedule. Do you have a new estimated completion date for us?
we are trying to get the project done before the end of the year. At least having final asphalt and striping done and signing. In most of our projects, when we say they're kind of completed, I want to throw in that landscaping usually lingers depending on the time frame of when they complete most of the hardscape. So as they get into the fall, they can't always get trees established and planted, so that sometimes does drag. But we anticipate, hopefully before the end of the year, opening it up fully, and then we can get our parade routes back to normal, to what they used to be. If you recall that, we used to run them down Kaufman and then up 3rd or up Main Street, and we've been changing that, and it has not been, from a traffic control standpoint, has not been easy.
And you mentioned signal upgrades on Hover, 119, and Main Street. Are red light camera installations part of that project, or is that a separate?
That is a separate initiative.
Anything happening with those?
So currently with red light cameras, and I'll ask Kyle to jump in if I say something inaccurate. Currently, because those, we are focusing on 119 and Main Street as the first kind of use of those, that technology. Those are CDOT roads. And we've been working with CDOT to get the approvals to actually establish them on those corridors. Most recently, they've asked for additional traffic and count information. They're not opposed to the thing, but they have their procedures and requirements that they need when communities will work on their roadways, and that's one of the things. So we're still working with them on that. And we're waiting to get a sign off, and then that is run through our public safety group. And then once we have those, there will be significant announcements, as well as similar to the trailer that I think's been on Kimbark. You see the speed trailer. I believe we've worked out a lease for a second one. There's also a handheld radar that they have been using as well. But you see the signing that warns people of speed enforcement ahead. There will be significant signing that is required for that, as well as for the red light cameras. So we have to get those approved as well. And we have the signs, we're ready to put them in. We just got to get a clearance from CDOT.
I see. Thanks, Jim.
It's me.
Hey, you said that. Oh. You said that buses are going to start moving to Kaufman. Is that going to be all buses, some buses? How's that going to be working out?
The part of the drive to for Kaufman Street, the initiative for Kaufman Street, was to move the buses, the north-south buses, off of Main Street, and they've done a little bit of that, pulling them off. But the whole point, as we build the First and Main transit stations, is keeping buses off of Main Street so we can move cars. That was the plan along. So as we build that, we'll start initiating that and getting them off of Main Street.
Sorry, I mean like the bus stops.
So I believe as they initiate and finish up the project, the bus route that formerly was or temporarily that ran around, I think west of Roosevelt.
All of the buses have been going to the west side of Roosevelt.
Right. As they initiate and get that stop rebuilt, okay, in the coming weeks and months, they'll move buses back.
Okay. Do you know if all of the routes are going to move to hit that stop, or if only some of them are going to stop there?
I do not have that information. I just know we're reestablishing where that to run buses down on Kaufman again by Roosevelt Park.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you for all the information and the updates. To piggyback off of the Kaufman and the bus, I have a question about, okay, the buses are going to be routed on Kaufman and the bike lanes also. Will we have bike lanes over there? Because, you know, one of the questions I have, and we've also at City Council have been getting some issues, some concerns from our constituents about people riding their bikes on Main very fast on the sidewalk. Their electronic, what are those boards? Those boards and things like that. And so that's an issue. And also on trails as well. So I was just wondering, since there are no bike lanes on Main Street, are we going to have like some signs to direct, you know, making sure that bikers go on Kaufman instead of Main, not on the sidewalk? Because like I said, we've been getting a lot of complaints of people saying that they almost got, you know, knocked over because of bikers on the sidewalks and things like that.
So the facilities we're building on Kaufman are basically off-street bike lanes. So they're not on the street, except so they don't conflict with the buses. Currently, most of Main Street, I believe, from either 2nd or 3rd up to 6th or Long's Peak, is a dismount zone, where bikes, if they're on the sidewalk, are not supposed to legally be riding. They're supposed to be dismounting and walking. Okay, and currently we don't have any plans for any signage to direct bikes off of Main Street onto Kaufman. But signing is, that can always be looked at, and that wouldn't be an issue. We can talk to the project manager to see, you know, what's the long-term plan for that. Certainly wouldn't be an issue.
Okay, I think that's very important so that people who have their e-mobility, what do you call those?
E-bikes.
E-bikes, not just e-bikes, but the whole, yeah, all those things. I myself have seen them, you know, I've eaten at Hefe's and people are just zoomed down the sidewalk. And that's not good for people who may have mobility issues and trying to move over quick enough to get out of those people their way. So I think it will be beneficial to have some type of signage so that people know. I know you saying what people are supposed to do. Anyway, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But anyway, also on the trails, it would be nice, because I walk my dog a lot, and it would be nice if I don't know if you all have ever been on, I know some of us have, on CU campus. And on CU campus, they direct people, you know, bikers go in one lane, walkers go the other lane. If we could do something like that on the trails, because not everyone say, oh, on your left or, oh, on your right. And people walk liberally however they want to, and that's fine. But now that people have their e-bikes and everything that's on the trail, they're going much faster. So I feel like if we had direction on the trails where people are on their bikes, it would be really nice for people to know, walkers, when I'm walking my dog, to stay on one side, and those who are on bikes can stay on one side. I think that would be very beneficial for people, because I've experienced that myself, where people almost knock me over or my dog, or don't even say I'm on your left or on your right. That's just common courtesy. The other thing is, thank you for left-hand circle, I think it's circle, and Sunset. I see the pedestrian. Yay! I didn't push the button because I didn't want to stop traffic. I just wanted to push it like a little kid, like to make sure it was working. But so my question is, on the top of the hill, would there be like a flashing sign so that people can see going south on Sunset, to make sure that they know that, someone is walking once they push that button? Because, up on the hill, you can't see down there by Oscar Blues.
Yes. So at that location, they just finished. The signs should have been finished today.
Okay.
So there is an advance sign on the north and south side. It's kind of over by that side landscape gym area. And so when the button is pushed on that crosswalk, it'll light up the head one too. So
Okay.
it'll alert drivers that there's someone in the crosswalk way above that hill because sight distance is an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Thank you. I'm excited for Sunset and the turning lanes because I've seen so many near accidents right there at Kim Pratt and Sunset. It's insane, and people try to go before the light, as soon as it turned green because there's no signal, and you may sit there forever. So I'm so excited for that. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for that, and I wanted to make sure we had signs up. And I think that's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Yarborough. One of the things I did not include in the update because we're not finished yet is an update on our pavement management program this year, which has included some developed crossings, Left Hand and Sunset is one. We've also done one over off of Kansas, close to a school where we're putting in our RFBs as well. And we've got a few more coming as we finish up that program. And as we're doing some of those are components of Vision Zero, which we try to incorporate in some of our other projects. So hopefully before the end of the year, or when we finish that out in September, October, maybe when we bring the crash report forward, I believe we're scheduling it for October, we will give you a report on some of that other work we're doing.
Okay, I have a couple of questions, if that's okay. Thank you for the very thorough report. That was lots of great information. My first question is about Kaufman Street. So I've been riding my bike along the finished pathway, and I wasn't clear which lane I was supposed to be using because there's really no signage really for which lane the bike is supposed to be in compared to a pedestrian. Like it's just like a little tiny brick kind of paving along the. I don't know if that's just coming and it's just not there yet.
That is correct. There's still some signing and striping on that area that has to be completed yet. That will usually follow prior to us kind of officially opening everything. That is coming.
Okay, so is it going to be like markings on the
I think there's going to be markings on the trail, on the bike lanes itself, as well as additional signing to note, which facility's which.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's good because I'm kind of guessing right now. Question about the signal updates you're doing on Kaufman. Is that going to include adding a signal for the bikes? Because right now, like when I'm cycling up to any street and crossing, there's no way for me to stop traffic because there's no, like I can't reach the pedestrian that's on the other side.
Yeah, it's that one. So we actually have plans. We're kind of trying to pile out new configuration for our signals. So if you look at right now, they're not running yet. We're hoping it's done in the next couple weeks. There's a little sign that says blue light on when detected, and it's a little blue bicycle light. So when you pull up to the signal, it'll trim blue, let you know you're detected. And that's part of that new traffic signal system and cameras we've been installing over the last 2 years. Big upgrade from the old ones. These ones can actually detect pedestrians and bicyclists separately and classify them. What this does allow us to do is do separate functions for each mode of transportation. So with bikes, we can have a bike minimum green time. We can have extensions. Right now, our signal cameras they don't have enough room in their outputs to have the bus preempt, the flashing yellow arrows, and all those other features. Just unfortunately not enough outputs. So this is one workaround to provide a more bike infrastructure. So no need to press buttons or get off your bike. When it lights blue, it will let you know you're detected.
Oh, that's great. Anytime I don't have to get up. Thank you. I had a question about the 119 Sunset widening intersection. Jim, you mentioned that we're going to be improving the bicycle lane. I was just wondering what the details of that are.
I know we're updating it. I'd have to look at the plan to actually see what exactly that will entail. But I know that they were improving it because that was part of, to the north of, on Sunset, was part of our future road diet to provide enhanced bike lanes up there as well. So that is one of our goals. I just off the top of my head can't remember the plan.
Okay. Yeah, because there's no bike lane right now north of
Right.
119. Right?
And then north of, that is part of what we're looking at is we're going to, as part of our part of asphalt rehab, is repave that and then reduce one of the lanes and provide bike facilities on that section of roadway.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, actually, part of that intersection will have a bike lane going across to both directions, as well as try to finagle as much as we could. So I believe we do have raised crosswalks in that area to help slow traffic down a little bit.
Okay.
The area is still very tight, but we try to give much room to bikes as possible. So when that comes, there'll be bike lane extending across the intersection, and as we go north to Sunset up to Cordy Parkway, we'll have widened bike lanes as well as some RFRB crossings.
Okay, great, thank you. I was driving on County Line Road yesterday or day before, and I noticed it's re-asphalted, but I know that you're adding shoulder to it. So why has that been re-asphalted when you're going to adding shoulders in like 2 years?
So the road was in really bad shape, and really what we did is we didn't do a complete rebuild or resurface of it. We did some patchwork in that area. It was a little more than we normally would do, knowing that we're not really going to get into that and repave it until next year. It wasn't gonna last. So our operations group went in and did some of that work.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's a lot smoother. It's a lot less avoiding potholes. I had another question. Do you have a estimated date on when the Army Corps are going to be done with their work on the St. Vrain?
I want to take a guess, but I can find out that information and get it for you, and I can email the board in the next couple of days. I think they're going to be out there in at least another 12 months, maybe longer. I'll have to get a schedule. I know they did the tree clearing, and they were waiting for spring runoff to get into the channel. And I know they've been working in the channel, and they're getting started on one of the, they've got to put in, they're waiting for the water to drop down so they can move into the existing lake that's there, because they're pushing that a little bit further to the north. So that was the current status. I'll get you a more detailed update. I can email the board with it.
Okay, thank you. Question about the Boston having the two-way lane on the north side, on that shoulder. It's often really gravelly, like most of the time. And I don't like riding in that shoulder because it's so gravelly all of the time because of Colorado materials right there. So with having that as a designated bike alternative while the trail is closed, are you going to increase the street sweeping to keep that clear for bikes?
Certainly we'll take a look at that. I agree with you. There does seem to be a lot more dust, debris, gravel on that road. We currently sweep our arterials and collectors on a monthly basis, routinely, to keep our bike lanes as clean as possible. We will look at that schedule to see if in that area we can ramp it up a bit, maybe every 2 weeks. But we'll talk to operations about it.
Okay, thank you. And on that same note, when you're going off the trail, where it's now currently closed, and going onto Boston, are you going to be changing the way that feeds on? Because right now it's kind of a tight 90-degree turn to get from the sidewalk onto the road. Are you going to be kind of making that a little bit more bike?
Currently, we don't have any plans for that. We may have to add some signing to have people notify them that it's a tight turn. But currently, we're not looking to do any other improvements in that area.
Okay.
I have a quick follow-up on Sunset and Kent Pratt intersection. In some of the Vision Zero meetings, there was some concerns about how long it takes a pedestrian to cross. And one of the things that I'm nervous about with increasing lanes is how much more time a pedestrian is going to have to cross. Do you have any solutions for some of those folks who are concerned about already the amount of time it takes to cross the crosswalk?
Yeah, so I believe on those plans we did relocate the pedestrian crosswalks a little bit to shorten it up. So instead of a big diagonal, we try to make it as perpendicular as possible, as well as we added we believe, new porch up islands. So that kind of gets like a 2-stage crossing where it can reduce that time. As we're looking at those intersections and future ones, we will be trying to reduce that distance as much as feasibly possible. But along with that, we have been adding pedestrian timing to all our signals, and through this new project, a lot of our signals do have leading pedestrian intervals. Most notably in Main Street, you'll get about 7 seconds of lead time with all hold red. So.
Okay, next section is public invited to be heard.
Okay. Yep. Good evening. My name is Dale Porter. I'm the board president for the Village Cooperative of Longmont, a 52-unit, 70-person apartment building on North Alpine for healthy adults, healthy older adults, which means we don't offer medical services. And I just have a small matter that I emailed to this board about, which is that on North Alpine Street, as it approaches 66, at about the 2000 block, you've installed a couple of speed bumps, which are very effective because I have to cross them twice a day, in slowing traffic down. As soon as people get beyond this, they start speeding up to get to Highway 66. We are at the corner of Alpine and Highway 66. They really take off after they cross those speed bumps. And there are a couple of, I think, pedestrian islands or semi-islands on either side of that street, which nobody uses. Everybody crosses the street either at the corner of, Olympia, or further up towards Highway 66, there's a long sidewalk that goes along the new developments there, and it crosses Alpine right there, and that's where everybody crosses when they're walking and walking with their dogs. So I know that you've just reconditioned that whole stretch of Alpine, but what I'm asking for is a speed bump to be placed right between those two pedestrian islands, just to slow people down. And slow down the Corvettes and the motorcycles and everybody else that takes off and speeds. And I clock it at 50 miles an hour. And I stand and stare at them, even though I'm afraid they're going to stop and attack me. But it's a serious problem because we have a lot of pedestrians in the area. There is side-by-side housing along the other side of the street. And so there's a good deal of traffic and a good deal of pedestrian traffic and bicycle traffic in that area. So I've been a member of the Vision Zero Task Force audience all year long, and I hope that you can incorporate that as part of your plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have information items, but it looks like we don't have any, but maybe we do.
Yeah, so no informational items, but I do want to invite Cami up. She has some more information to answer questions that you all asked about the bus and the bus stop from the last section. And then I just have a quick transportation planning update that I meant to squeeze in from communications from staff, but unfortunately didn't have time to. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me back up. And I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Cami Edson, the Vision Zero coordinator for Longmont. So for the record, to board member Starrett's question about buses, all of the buses that have been rerouted to the other side of Roosevelt Park currently are all being slated for the January 2026 run board. So they are trying to align with the fact that Kaufman is ahead of schedule and hopefully will be done by the end of the year, so those buses can return to Kaufman ASAP as soon as possible. They think all of that is doable. There's only one turn from westbound 3rd Avenue to northbound Kaufman where they're concerned about the big buses being able to make that turn. So we're working with the project manager right now and in discussions with RTD about possibly moving back a stop bar or something to make that turn more possible for them. But otherwise, they are planning to hopefully have all of those bus routes rerouted and approved for the January run board. And then to Councilmember Yarborough's question about the e-bikes and the motorbikes, the quicker bikes that we know are causing problems on trails and sidewalks. There is a regional work group addressing this that is just getting started to kind of learn what are all the other communities doing around this and talking to some national partners about best practices. Because internally, there's a work group being led by Sarah Arney and some of us staff members to also bring forward some potential proposals about what we can do, such as possibly signage, speed limits, policy changes, whatever it might be, design changes around those areas as well. So that initial proposal will go to some internal staff. I believe it's November or October. We're working on kind of compiling some ideas to be able to bring that forth for sort of admin review first, and then kind of figure out the next steps after that. But it's come up a lot in the Vision Zero task force. We know all sorts of departments are hearing concerns about these quicker speeds with these modes of transportations with motors and how that's kind of changing the game out on our trails and sidewalks. So just know internally we're working on it, regionally we're working on it, nationally people are working on it. So hopefully we'll have some proposals later this fall to bring forward for Longmont's sake. So I'll do my best. There we go. Yes. I think that's all I had to offer. So thank you. Yes, sorry, questions.
Are there any updates to traffic fatalities? Are we still at 0 or has that changed?
Yes, that has changed. There have been 3. If you haven't heard, there was 3 within 1 week time span. It was a really tough week. So Longmont was really lucky the first 6 months of the year, honestly, to having 0 traffic fatalities so far this year. That's not the norm. But we have experienced 3 about a week and a half ago to 2 weeks ago was when we experienced our first. So there were 2 within a half an hour of one another and 1 about 3 days prior to that. So unfortunately, we're no longer at 0. Yes.
Staff is still trying to get our hands on the police reports
Yes.
on that. It takes a little while as they come through, as they finish their investigation. We did hear that one of them may have been a medical issue. But we don't have the final police report to make that call. We can try to, at least when we bring the crash report forward in October, we'll have an update on the current year's status as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll let you know if that changes.
Sounds good.
As always, the fatal crashes take longer for the officers to complete their reports. So we're just giving them the time and space they need to do that part thoroughly before we dig into the crash reports.
Of course.
So, yeah.
And then do you have a quick update on your walk that you did?
Oh, the walk audit.
Yes.
Yes. So Vision Zero hosted a walk audit, and as kind of unrealistic or just unimaginable as it is, that is when the first fatal occurred. And where we were meant to cross 287 on our walk audit was where the road was closed due to the first fatal. So we were able to go from the Longmont Rec Center. We walked west towards Burlington Elementary School, kind of looked at some of the school improvements that Kyle and his team and other staff members have been making prior to school opening, which is great, and then walked back along the trail to kind of come back towards the rec center and the museum. And so there was probably about 8 community members that attended, and we really walked through kind of a template for what a walk audit could look like for Longmont and got their feedback of ease of use, what they would like changed, what it might be. There was a great suggestion of making it modular about depending on the project type, which modular section would we need for a walk audit. So our goal is to have a standard walk audit. So regardless of the project, if we go out and do this kind of work pre-project, post-project, that will have a standardized tool to use moving forward. So it was a great first start. Really appreciate it. We got great feedback from the community. So, and I don't know if Councilmember Sart would want to add anything to it. He was one of our attendees, but not to put you on the spot, but if you have anything to add.
Yeah, all that I'll really add is that it was a very enlightening experience, and everyone in the community should do one at some point.
Great. Hopefully there'll be lots of opportunities to do them through the Vision Zero projects. That's what we like to normalize, is offering that pre and post projects. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Thank you for the interruption and extra time.
And then just a quick transportation planning side of things update. We were awarded $1.4 million from the RTD partnership program from 2026 through 2028 to continue the Ride Longmont microtransit program. So we're really excited about that. It's a great sum of money, and just wanted to let you all know that was awarded last week. So.
Speaking of Ride Longmont, do we have any update numbers and average wait time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe the last I checked, we were almost at 46,000 completed rides since launch. So we're still averaging about 5,000 to 6,000 rides a month, looking at anywhere from about 150 to 250 rides per day. The weekdays are more in the 200 to 250 range, weekends more in the 100 range. So that service has been steady since the launch of it. Wait times, the average since launch is still hovering around that 20-minute mark. With that being said, anecdotally, we have heard that folks have experienced issues with the system capacity. So when they try to book a ride, there's no seats available because the system has hit capacity, or folks experiencing wait times longer than 20 minutes. So that is just due to high demand. And so we are aware of that. We would love to address that, whether that's expanding the service hours, expanding number of vehicles. I'm hoping that having this RTD partnership grant money will help with that in the future. But as of now, my data does say the average wait time is still 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Next up is action items, but I'm seeing none. Okay. All right. Next we have comments from board members, and we'll start over here and work our way along.
I just have a quick comment is thank you, Dale, for coming in and speaking, because usually we don't hear people very often. So that's, and that's also kind of how we were aware of the sunset issue, was some parents came to kind of talk about bringing their kids across Sunset, and now we see progress. So hopefully there'll be progress for you as well. And then a suggestion kind of on Alpine, because I'm sure there's high speed of people getting off of 66, then getting on Alpine, or trying to get across 66. It would be great. I've seen this in various areas to define, where we really define roadways, where you're entering a more neighborhood road. So, you have in other countries, it would be a level crossing as you enter. For us, maybe a speed bump type of methodology, where you come off of 66, you hit a speed bump, slows you down to signify, oh, I'm entering a neighborhood zone. Or also when you're approaching 66. So then it's like, oh, I'm going to a high speed road and I got to slow down to actually look. So just some thoughts and ideas. And then I do look forward to next month on Strodes. So I know that was something I brought up, wanted to discuss. So I'm hoping for a lively discussion. Thank you.
Thank you for the information, the presentations of all the projects that the team is working on. I do want to echo a comment that when the public does make comment, you all do listen. So Dale, thank you for coming here and speaking. There's 3 projects that have been in my tenure that have been addressed. So the Sunset, or left-hand circle in Sunset, that was something that came up. The 4-way stop around Central, that was something that came up from the public. And then also striping on Pratt Parkway. All of those were comments from the the residents of Longmont, and you all did something about it. So I applaud you all for listening and taking action. So thank you. I do also want to make a comment that, yet again, out of our control, but I did go to the airport again, and I had to drive, and I was going to park at the cheap park and ride, and it was full, so I had to park at economy, and there was no reliable bus shuttle that I can take midday on a Saturday. So I definitely want to hold RTD accountable to bring back Skyride, because that's something that I think the city residents really deserve. And I don't think it's equitable for us to expect everybody to have a car to then park at economy parking lot because Long's Peak was full. I don't think that is something that we should allow RTD to continue. So I'm going to keep advocating, and hopefully we can go to an RTD meeting to advocate for our constituents, because it's just not fair.
Thank you, staff, for the project updates and progress reports. I have a request. My recollection is that our agenda a few meetings ago was to include an appearance by Longmont PD Traffic Unit Sergeant Jessen, but he was not able to attend. So I'd like to re-invite him to come to a TAB meeting. I'd really like to get Sergeant Jessen's input on traffic safety in general and speed cameras in particular. And also, I'd like to initiate a discussion about traffic noise. All right, thank you. Also, with regard to our board quorum, I am not going to be able to attend the September 8th meeting. So I just want to confirm that everybody else will be able to have a quorum. Okay, great. That's it for me.
Okay, so I just had a question for staff. So in the past, TAB have been invited to attend the Transportation Summit that happens this month, put on by Commuting Solutions. I was just wondering if that is going to happen again this year.
Sorry. So I know the summit is happening this year. I'm not quite sure. I wasn't aware that TAB members were invited to join. So I'm definitely happy to look into that. Was that in terms of like a sponsored membership? You didn't have to pay for registration. That's what. Okay. Do you remember in the past how many spots we had for that?
It was just whoever could attend from TAB.
Okay,
So
great. Yeah, I am happy to follow up with Commuting Solutions on that because I have not heard from them about that. So
okay, thank you. And I also wanted to thank Dale for coming in and talking today. And I just want to mention about the Front Range Passenger Rail presentation that was last month instead of our TAB meeting. And I was really happy to see how many residents attended that summit. It was I think it was a really good presentation, and I think a lot of people got a lot of good information from it. So I was really pleased to see that, and hopefully we do see Front Range Passenger Rail in January 2029. Oh, yeah. Okay, next up is comments from City Council Liaison.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for all that you do. And also was going to mention the event that Mayor Peck put on. That's something she was adamant about. She really wanted to make sure the community had some information and resources and understood where we are right now in that process. And so I just want to give her props because that's the only way that would have happened. She's been trying to do that for a long time, so I appreciate that. And thank you, staff, and thank you, Dale, for coming. And don't let this be your last time, please. Come on back. And that's it tonight. Good to see you all, and welcome, Ross. Good to see you, and thank you, Stephanie, for all you do, and your hair is cute. I like that. Anyway.
Okay, next we have items for upcoming agenda, which is going to be on September 8th. We have the Strode study session. Is there anything else to add to that?
I asked to have this added to the agenda. In preparation for that study session, is there anything you would like us to put together for it for discussion? Would you like to see a PowerPoint? Would you want to hold it in this room, or do you want to move to the study session room where we can put tables together, lay out plans? What is there any expectation that you? I think I always like, if I'm going to have plan on having a study session about one particular topic, I like to be prepared. So we would ask if there's anything you would be looking for from staff to bring, that we can bring forward to add to the discussion or to assist with that. I don't anticipate that there will be any action items that would require the board to decide on. But if we're pulling together work, we'd like to know how we can assist to guide that conversation.
Well, partly because I brought it up. I think, my idea is, what can we do would be part of our discussion, I hope, is what can we do for the future of, trying to define roads instead of having, a road that generally is where most of our fatalities are, high crash ratings are. But then also from other perspectives of even 17th Avenue, I would call that a strode, but it's along a lot of homes, and think about the equity there of now, how do those people even get across the road? So simple discussions of what can we do in the immediate term, and then what can we envision in the long term? Whether we're going to promote more micromobility options, but then also, it's about, it's everything from tax revenue to people's property values to, we could go down that rabbit hole, but I don't really want to. I think planning and zoning should go down that rabbit hole. But does that at all help? Yeah. Okay. And then I would encourage anyone else to add something.
Yeah, I think what I would like to know is, how we define stroads in Longmont versus how other municipalities define stroads, and how their safety, if they're running Vision Zero programs, what they're doing with their stroads to make them safer for all modes of transportation. So I think what I would like to see in this is, looking outside of our city, how are other municipalities dealing with their stroads when it comes to Vision Zero?
I think it would be, maybe we'd have a better discussion if we were kind of all more in a kind of a round table type of situation rather than this kind of format. I feel like we might have better collaborative experience if we were kind of more.
I agree.
Yeah. But I would say having maybe a short presentation initially just to kind of get the ball rolling. And then we can kind of jump from there and have some discussion, maybe having some good maps available so we can kind of dive into some of the maps will be helpful, so we can refer and it'll make it a little bit easier to have those discussions. Okay, anyone else? Okay, anything else for items for coming agenda? Okay, all right, next we will be adjourning. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn the August 11th, 2025 Transportation Advisory Board meeting.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We are adjourning.